going on, everybody? A little Chop and Brew Lanyap. I'm here with DonO. He's watching baseball in the room. He's in a hurry. Just kidding. So our friend
Game
Chuck.
7. Come on.
So our friend Chuck Gosnell, by way of his lady friend Jenny, brought back a classic New England IPA from Portland, Maine. Bissell Bros. It's their Substance Ale IPA. Portland, 6.6 ABV. Hops: Apollo, Centennial, Chinook, Falconer's Flight, which is itself a blend, Simcoe, malts, Crystal,
Simcoe.
Maine two-row, Maine oats, Maine wheat, which I kind of love. They're basically saying like the majority of our grist is grown in Maine. The other subtext of this conversation is that DonO very often says that there's something not
I have
quite
said
bad, but not quite just 100%
as
about
good.
hazies, any IPAs that come from the Midwest, from the West Coast, anywhere but the Northeast.
I just mean to say that I first had this style from breweries from the Northeast, so it just set that bar. And then other breweries started making them. We started trying other ones, had some Midwest ones, but then our good friend Scott out east would still send us some Treehouse, still send us some Trillium. Maybe over time I've had Lawson's. I've had my friend, whoa, right there, four quarters, Brian. So I don't know why, but they know how to make those beers. I mean, and I think other people know how to make them too. I'm not going to hate on like Midwest or other U.S. breweries, but I just think that the ones that I have had from the East Coast, I think are a little better.
I'm not doubting. I'm just like, I wonder, it's got to be the water. It's got to be this missing element that we don't all consider often enough, because your malts, your hops, your yeast, but it's just
there's process is possibly a big one too. So what I would say I feel like is sometimes better about the East Coast ones is they're a little, they will have some bitterness and they'll have a hop flavor and they'll have, it's not like they're just like really a soft beer, but there's an overall plush, kind of a thickness, a viscosity, a softness. I said it many times. I think of your orange juice when you drink your orange juice. It's just like hop juice, but it's not dry by any means, not too thin, not too bitter. And I feel like maybe some of the other breweries, when they make these beers, they just have like one or two of those elements that I just think, oh, this isn't no Trillium. I mean, how many times have we opened those cans and just been blown away with the aroma, the flavor, the look? They're just top notch, and this is up there. I mean, right away my first thing was like fresh cut grass just in the nose. Now that you said sort of like a dankness, and I guess you've listed Simcoe, so that's I suppose a possibility. I don't know much about Apollo. Chinook, sometimes you'll get some pininess. That could be maybe a little bit of the flavor profile.
Falconer's Flight, from Bird vs. Fish.
I think I think I've tried to look up what might be in those, and I don't know if I've ever gotten much information. I mean, I think it's a proprietary blend by what? Is it some hop manufacturer?
I feel like it's still a bunch of sea hops.
I feel like that too.
You could almost argue this is kind of like a sea hopped hazy, probably Apollo for bittering, all these other ones for flavor and aroma.
It's one that I want to take a bigger gulp of than just like little sips. Sometimes I just like to sip them, but I just like to get all this. It's like the thickness of the mouthfeel. Well, I'm glad you thought to share with me. And thanks to Jen via Chuck and Jen.
Yeah, can you remember the first time you had one of these? Was it?
I mean, I would probably go back to Hattie Topper.
Yeah. And how did you get that?
I may have traded.
Yeah.
I used to do more beer trading, and it could have either been like kind of a beer mail gift type thing, or it could have been a trade scenario. But that was probably the first. I mean, isn't that considered one of the first kind of versions of that style? And they would say, I forget, would they say swirl the can or don't swirl the can? I know they definitely had
I think they were like,
don't swirl it.
I think they encourage you, almost like a Hefeweizen, to like tip it. I know I'd had it at least once, if not twice, through people sending it to you before I went to Nashville, and then John Kimmick himself was there with these cases, and we were all just like,
wow, yeah,
what? Everybody got a can.
Yeah.
However you want to
Embarrassment of riches.
Yeah, I know, in a cup if you wanted it. Or
did you record him talking? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then I saw another video of him like talking about the style and in the brewery, and like I just remember him talking about, here's what if you pour it out without doing the swirl, and then if you swirl, and
that's smart.
There was something about, I just can't remember if he recommended it or not recommended it.
Woo!
But this is good. And I see, once again, you've won. Although I'm not far behind you.
Conan, British 5, whatever. Your yeast lab preferences, like they've all got one of these at this point.
They don't get into that though, do they? I'll give you some details.
Yeah, more than most breweries.
Yeah.
All right, keep it hazy. Send us more cans from the Northeast so DonO can love on them.
Yeah, boy. Go Phillies, go Rangers.